I hit record.
There we go. Now we're recording.
Record 5 seconds. Anyways, as to what I was saying, Yuri will come in about in an hour or 50 minutes or so. But as to what I was saying, and that is this is in the last call, and then in maybe a little bit this call, I'm not sure. I gotta look at my screen, see about myself. And my hair is not so good, but anyways, what happens is like the comparison and cost of living again. Like if you wanted like a gig of internet speed in Ukraine, depending on the area might be a little bit different in price. But in the area that I'm in, it's like about $10 a month for 1 gig. Then if you want like something like 300 or 500 megs down, this is up and down for downloading and uploading, you pay like $5 a month. If you don't want that, then you pay like $2 a month. And that it just their way of doing it. But now there's a catch with it. There's a catch with it, not for the apartment, but I would say for the building itself. You know, sometimes they don't do things in such an aesthetic way, not in a pretty eye-looking way. So in front of the building that's in my building, and I believe it's either a cable wire or it's internet wire, they have something that's on the top of the building. But then you'll see this black wire that just, you know, floats whenever there's enough wind. It just will float back and forth. And sometimes you'll see it out the side of your window too. So it's kind of a little bit dangling in that. So they don't do it in an aesthetic way that makes it look pretty to the eye. But do you pay $2 to $10 a month for very fast internet? Yeah, as I'm uploading and downloading from iCloud into my server at the moment while doing a video call. So like that. That's the best I can say with it. But right. Just one of them little tidbit, little fun fact type of things of what it is. But regardless is, so Yuri, like I said, will come in probably like about 15 minutes or so, and that, because since he's outside at the moment and he's the lawyer, soldier, RADA deputy guy, since him being a RADA deputy, well, he's not a RADA deputy. He works for a RADA deputy, so he's kind of like a staff guy. He helps out with the RADA deputy. And the RADA deputy is also basically the Ukrainian version of a congressman. And that. So it's like that. But he should be able to answer some interesting questions, so to speak.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of hoping for. Yeah. To get more of an understanding from his perspective.
Yeah.
So,
well, in a way, I probably know half the answers what he would answer to. I could be wrong, but because I've known him for so long, I've known him since 2018, and that. But he's very open-minded and everything else, and all this stuff. I mean, but like, let me see here. Let's see. I'm thinking about let's see from my let's see. Let me see if I can pull something from whatchamacallit. And you know too, I'll tell you this too. Yuri has also been to Kherson, and he was in Bakhmut, and a few other places. I don't know every single place he was in,
Right.
but he basically did kind of a supply mission run type of thing in that, or well, he can go into it, but he did his own thing, but basically is the way that I understand it, he's a guy that just guards the parliament building if he has to do a soldier job and that. So it's kind of like that, but he can flex around if he needs to.
Right.
But normally he's a lawyer and then everything else.
No, it sounds like when you were saying he did like supply runs, right? That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Because when I was in Iraq, one of my missions was KBR recovery. I did a lot of convoy security, and we did a lot of supply runs to the RP sites, especially more so in southern Iraq and a few in northern Iraq. So it's pretty interesting. It seems like we may have something in common. So I'm just looking forward to talking to him.
Well, if I give me a moment, let me see if I can find it. Let me see here. 1 second. I gotta look see. It's here, but I don't know where it's at on my server. Let me see here 1 second. Because I've been uploading all these random videos because I'm getting out of iCloud. I don't want to pay the money every year. Let me see here 1 second. Which video? 1 minute. It needs to be 1 minute and 30. But basically, like a lot when I was there, there it is. Yeah, okay, I got the video. So what happens is when I was there, it was a mix of basically running water, running gas, and there was some food involved, I think, too. But basically, it was huge amounts of gas and water. That was like the main things. Let me see if this one is it. Yeah. So here, 1 second. If I share the screen, 1 second.
Rude.
Okay. So let me pause that. So if I share my screen again, let me see here 1 second. Switch to new tab. Oh yeah, share. Click the big share button. Oh, the sharing is not turned on. Do you want to turn the sharing on your side?
Yeah.
Because I'll share the screen and because I record probably like about say 10 or 15 videos. I probably should have recorded more in that. But what happens is there was a few times I recorded you could hear the not artillery, but well, whichever tracers or whatever back and forth and that. And I recorded some of it from 2 years ago when it was in Bakhmut because I was with him in Bakhmut.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. You hear me?
Yeah, hold on. Let me figure this out. I know I did it one time, and I don't think I remember how I did it.
It would be in settings, I think.
Okay, yeah. Settings would be, I'm going to hit more. Meeting settings. So, mute up, no play, join and leave sound, always show controls, touch my. Are you able to share now?
Let's see. The host saying not yet. The host is not allowing.
Okay.
Let's see.
Listen. Stop incoming video. I know. I don't think that's it. Show my connected time. Try now. Can you now?
Yeah. One second. Let me see if it's. Maybe I'm hitting the wrong one, even though it's the one over. Record. Oh, let's request. Oh, ooh, I can request captions. Ooh, interesting. No, it says sharing is not turned on. Let me look it up for 1 second. But
There.
sharing. Let's see. Sharing is not turned on. Meeting tab, then click screen sharing's toggle, enable and disable it. That's what it says.
So disable it.
Well, it says click the meeting tab under in meeting. In quotes, it says basic. Click the screen sharing toggle to enable or disable it. If a verification dialog displays, click enable or disable to verify the change. Note this option is grayed out if the account level is not high enough or something. And host, make sure screen sharing is enabled if you are the host. The screen sharing is grayed out in the web portal settings page. It has been locked or a group or account level. Contact Zoom admin, that's what it says. Strange. Or oh, okay. I think that's it. I see yours now.
Got it.
Okay. Buried in the settings.
Lock meeting. Oh, wait. Share screen. Are you able to do it now?
Let me try. It says someone else is sharing, so I gotta have you stop sharing.
Oh, yeah. Let me stop sharing. Okay, hold on. Stop share. There we go. I think we got it.
So let me.
Sorry about that, everyone.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Okay, so let me see. Should be this Google Chrome. Okay, so let's see. Like that. Playing with settings. Anyways, wouldn't want that. Something like that. So to give an idea. Okay, so you're able to see a video part, right?
No.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Oh, okay, 1 second. Oh, whoops. I didn't hit share. My bad.
Yeah.
Now you can?
Yes.
Okay, so this is one video. Like I did, like I said, like 10 or 15. I should do more because I'll be heading east maybe next week. But this is the bouncy road. Let's just put it that way. And then I sing very terribly. This was 2 years ago. And Yuri's to my right. And then there's a
show the road.
I should probably stop right because of the hedgehog.
Was that windshield shot, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, if you're close, that's a couple of days ago.
Remind you of something you've been through?
Yeah. Yes. Bringing some stuff back. It's
I started thinking dancing queen. It's a bad joke. But wait 1 second. You'll hear it. That was artillery.
Yeah, outgo.
Oh, art outgoing. Ah, gotcha. Oh, I should stop it?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. 1 second. Like that. I don't know if you heard the shooting out part good enough or not. But yeah, like that. And then I'm just trying to think what else. There should be, this is a different video wise. That you hear the boom sound, right?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah. But like it's just one of them things that like that. And then a few photos I took. I actually have a longer video. We were sitting and waiting, but this is somewhere in Bakhmut, and this is via my GPS side from the phone, and that so it's like the center of Bakhmut. And to give a reference key, so to speak, live view map. Okay. So like that, to give you an idea. So if this is Bakhmut in the corner right here and that, and then here's Kramatorsk and that, this is Ukrainian side. This is now Russian side and that. And I'm not perfect with my mapping, but that's not so important since I don't know it city by city. But a lot of the times they use this live UA map
Right, right.
in order to explain what's going on. So let me find, okay, so here's Bakhmut right here, which is now all taken in red.
Right, right.
And then here is Kramatorsk. And that, so when I did that video, it was somewhere right in the middle of there. And like we were waiting, and I think I did like 2 or 3 videos just about nothing and that. And it was just like there was some people around, but no one really cared type of thing. But it was like when you saw someone, it was like one person. It wasn't 30, it wasn't 50 people. And that it was just like one of them things.
Right, right, right.
But yeah, so I did that. And then this was a wider shot. And then this was the driver. He actually his car got hit again. 1 second, let me see something. Ah, and by the way, with me zooming in, this is Yuri, and then this is his boss. I didn't realize that Yuri was in the picture, but he was the driver, and she got dropped off here in Bakhmut. I have no clue what happened to her.
Right, right, right.
Whether she stayed, whether she moved around or anything else, but we were dropping her off. And she was dressed like that. But regardless of that, but just one of them things. But this was like June of 2022. And then like there, this is the little Jeep thingy. Then, and then at night, this fun part of it all. Nothing really eventful. Just a bit of a war zone, but nothing eventful.
Right. It just kind of reminds me of the convoys in Iraq.
Oh, is it almost 100% identical, just different cars?
Yeah, yeah. You know, it just kind of the setting and everything. It kind of brings me back to a lot of our, because one of my missions in Iraq was like KBR recovery. So we used to take out government contractors out and provide security for them while they recovered down equipment. So it was kind of has the same feel, especially at nighttime because a lot of our missions were at night. But it's very interesting stuff. I mean,
Yeah. And then this was without me. This is not me as camera guy. It's Yuri.
Yeah, yeah.
The irony is, I understand the British guy in Russian. He's talking,
mhm.
and I did this video. I'm sure you can guess by what kind of car is passing. Not a normal car, but still one of them things is just that was some of the photos and stuff that I did in Bakhmut. Some of it I did in Pokrovsk too. Let's see. And I'm sure the video should work almost perfectly now because it's going through the website instead of being directly on my computer. Let me see here. Okay, Pokrovsk. Okay, enter into Pokrovsk. It's loading. I'm gonna give it a second to load, or I'm doing too much on my server. Or I did too much photos and videos. That would be the day. You know what? Let me see something. Search it. Oh, okay. Finally, there we go. Oh, wow. Yeah. Went back. Let's see. Probably was going too fast for stuff. I think I need to cut. Let's see. Okay, so let me click back into here. Okay, so that was it. It was me uploading. So more little random stuff from Pokrovsk is, let me see here. It's close to Konstantinivka, or I call it Konstantinivka because it looks like that to me.
I really like that map. It's hard to find good maps to look at.
It's updated all the time. I think either hourly or otherwise. So this is Konstantinivka. So Pokrovsk is either behind or south. Okay, so here's Pokrovsk. Okay, this is where Pokrovsk is. So here's one city. I've been here, and then of course I was in Bakhmut here. And I
Are you
was
able to zoom in? Are you able to zoom in some?
Yeah, sure. I was just trying to.
Oh, no.
So here's one town. I was in this town for like 3 to 4 days. Okay.
Right.
Then we did a bit of traveling, which then I was over here. And then at the time we went into Bakhmut here and that. So like if I had some photos and videos in Bakhmut, these would be my photos and videos for Pokrovsk. Pokrovsk. Right here. This would be Pokrovsk. I was just trying to give it a idea of where it's at on the map, since it's right here and going there to there. And that was the distance 2 years ago. And that. So when I go through these photos, this is going through stuff. Again, more random. You know, I didn't know it. I didn't think about it. I thought this building was damaged or hit, but it wasn't damaged or hit. About like 10 minutes after I took a picture, I ended up seeing some guards there and that. And I didn't realize it because I walked by it. But I took photos from like almost like a kilometer away. I think I just remember one time that I saw it and I was a little bit shocked because I didn't mean to take any picture or anything military wise
right.
and that, but it was an accidental
No,
and that. And this was some damaged building. And like basically everything that was in this town, I kind of thought there was the city center was the city center, the center of the town, but that's not true. The center is filled with just a bunch of houses. And but what happens is the center is actually like a street that's a little bit outside of the town, and that's where all like the businesses and such are. And as this loads, and that this was a little get together food and that after mission wise for eating and stuff. And that Yuri is not in the photos here, but I was here. I talk with this guy on and off and that, and Yuri can tell you more about this guy. He doesn't like to be in the spotlight much, the guy that's the driver and that. Then food as always. And then me and Yuri had the same room. So, and that he had one bed, I had the other bed. So I had this bed to the left, and then he had this bed here. And that, just one of them things like that.
Yeah.
Then now to give you an idea, cost, if you want to call it for cost of living again. So so you have not $105, but let's say X, getting a exchange calculator to, and now this is out in the east. I want you to understand this is near the war zone by like 1 to 2 hours. So let's see. I will get or Harivna or Grivna, $2. So it's 105 for a small pizza. It's 199 for a large pizza in terms of cost. And this is a margarita in that. So it's, you know, it's got some lettuce and it's got something basic in that. And so for your cost on 105, convert, so auto convert, but so you have 2.55, $2.50. That's the best way to put it in that for a small pizza, $2.50. Then for a large, it should be closer to $5.
Right. Yeah. On the screen.
$4.82.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And then now, if you try to go larger in that, let's say this one is Mexican, or what their idea of what a Mexican pizza is. So it's $2.79. This will be like $8 or $9. It'll be close to 8 or 9. So $2.79 hryvnia. Well, okay, I'm off by $1. It's $6.76. And that's the large in that. So 289, 279. There's not a pizza that's basically up to $10 as in terms of a large. And it's the same large that you would get at Pizza Hut or Domino's.
Wow.
It's size large in that, in terms of, again, cost of living. And that, and oh, and then they have a sale ad, buy two, get a third free. So the idea that I had a joke was that pizza is very cheap in the East. And yeah, this one. And then they like, I think was this one or was a different one? They did some coloring to the teeth. Then there's a random hole here in the ground. Oh yeah, and then the dog, random dog, no one's dog. I mean, someone's, but it was just roaming around free.
Dog. This dog.
Ah, come on. Buffer up.
This
I'll buffer in a second. Okay, so it should be good.
dog runs along.
Ah,
Along.
well, in the short,
This dog.
the dog runs along and it keeps running like that. Almost there, come on.
Runs along the street. Followed me, and then runs away. Interesting.
Like that. Just random stuff. And this is how they did their your check is kind of a thing of you getting your bill.
Right.
Always, every restaurant always has a different attitude on making your check delivery be a little bit fun. And this was a meeting before we all headed out. And I thought that was interesting from being an IT guy. It just doesn't look correct. Then like this. And then a bunch of boxes.
Basically, supply runs. Lots of supply runs.
Yeah. Yep.
No, you're good.
But yeah, like that. And then
Yeah.
like water. And that all of this went on one of the trucks or something. And that. And like this. I like how they spell tires.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
You still understand it regardless. And that,
Right, of course.
and boom, boom, boom. But like, yeah, this was one of their little station things.
That's cool.
Let's see what else like that. Yeah, and then all of this loaded up into one of them. Fast recording. And they got gasoline on their hand or something, whatever. If I remember correctly. And then the very few people out. Again, 1 or 2 hours from the actual front line. There was a lot of cats around there, though. Tons of cats.
A little military presence. Ah! Military comes. Ah!
Shows you I'm really in terror.
Mhm.
In terms of war zone.
Oh, bicyclers. And then.
But yeah, like that. Just one of them things. Then cats. Cats everywhere. I don't know if this still rings more bells for you or not. Or just cats hiding in grass, like they're little ninjas. Like cat there, cat there, cat there, bird there. Just, yeah, just all over. More cats. Like I said, there's cats everywhere.
Yeah, looks like it. Crazy.
I had something similar like that before or no?
Say that again.
Like, have you had something similar? Like, was it cats or was it dogs or a different animal?
What's that?
Just like when you were in the service, like in Iraq.
Oh, but yeah, well, in Iraq, there was always, if we went to one of the RP sites when we would run supplies, there was a few guys. They had one RP site. They adopted a dog. I don't really remember the whole story behind that one. Then I know another RP site we went to, they adopted, I think it was like 3 or 4 cats, and so it's pretty interesting. I think in a way, and I don't think it matters like what country goes to war. I think there's something about animals that help people in those situations where it's animals help for some reason. I think it gives us something to do, like another purpose, instead of, when you're in a position where you could take a life. Taking care of an animal is the opposite of So I think in a way it's more like for healing in some
Yeah.
way, emotional. Yeah, that's interesting though.
Brings you back to reality. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to see here, like between all of these photos and videos and everything. You know, it's so funny. Like, if you look on a map, like other than this, like if it shows my location, I don't know. No, it doesn't show it. Oh, wait, let me see if I can use from map. Oh, polygon. Nah. It used to, or at least on the mobile version, it would show like your GPS location. But anyways, like in the reference point on the map, if I had to draw where I'm at, it would be like right in this area. Like that. I would be in this area. But then the war is over here.
Right.
Then to keep that more in the perspective, Ukraine is about the size of Texas or a little bit bigger than Texas in that. So it's not like going from this point to here, if it's not wartime, is like 5 hours. If it's wartime, it's like 12 or 14. If it comes from Lviv, there's an intercity route that will do 6 hours. But now Kharkiv is up here, or it's actually over here. Kharkiv is over here and that. And so from here to here is 12 hours. So you have 5 hours here, 12 hours there. And then like going through whichever direction you want to go through there and everything. Just one of them things like that. But yeah, it's just like that. And I was just trying to think what I was going to show next besides photos. Oh, Google Maps. So maps, not Google. So in terms of me being around Ukraine, or at least traveling in that. So let's see, let me zoom out. Further zoom out. And that, so let's see. There should be an option. Let's see here. It should show my my contribution, my timeline. It should be something like this. Because it'll list all the cities and it will list them like dots on a map. This, it is usually this on the phone. So let's see, my timeline. Maps activity. Maps. Well, we'll see in a second. But regardless of what it is on the side of everything. Like if I was to look at the entire, maps activity, not that type of activity. Interesting. The other activity, maps. So it would be the other way. Anyways, as it's loading. But basically I have a dot thing for like every little spot of where I've been. Let me see if I can't find it. Maybe in Viber it is. Nah, but either or. I've been through quite a bit of Ukrainian short. That's the idea. I figure I'd get a photo or a video of it. Maybe when Yuri's talking, I'll dig for it. I should be almost soon.
All right. I'm going to
Yeah.
stop my video and mute
Yeah.
myself just for a second. You can keep going and talking because I gotta grab my sunglasses. My son is starting to peek in, and
Yeah.
so and I have an eye problem, so I'm gonna get that. You can keep going and explaining.
Yeah, sure,
I'm gonna get those sunglasses, so that's what I'm gonna do really quick.
Oh wait, maybe this is it. Just took a while to load. Explore your timeline. Sure, yeah, okay. Go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. Oh, okay, so this is the interesting part. So all the little dots of where I've been in Ukraine. Well, it doesn't show the border so well, but so let's see. Satellite? Yeah, that would be better. It only showed the border of the country better than what it is. So every dot is where I've been in Ukraine. A city somewhere, like either the train was going through, should be Berezne. Yeah, Berezne here, Rivne there, Zhytomyr, roundabouts in Kiev, outside of Kiev. I was in Brovary. This must have been when we were leaving to go east. That. But yeah, it's just one of these things that I've been all around. In April of this year, I was in Odessa, and thus my location spotting for Odessa via my phone, all in this area, and then that area. But yeah, and this would be like the coastal area, like the east coast of the US to the west coast, in a way. But that is my traveling around. And Moldova is near, Poland is near. And everything else. What else? Let me see. Think what else here. Got photos of Kharkiv. Kharkiv. Okay, here's Kharkiv. So this loads up. So when I was in Kharkiv, the great infamous tractor of Ukraine, things like this. Everything good with you?
Yep.
Let me see if I can show it. What I was showing, even though you can't really see the line of what Ukraine is as in terms of the country, in that all of these dots are where I've been inside of Ukraine, and that all the little dots. So like Kyiv is there, and like this is too far for being inside of Belarus. So, but like I've been around. Sometimes I think I've seen more of Ukraine than Ukrainians have. Yeah, 5 minutes. I'm sure by about 7:05. Well, 7:05 for me, and that he'll be good and ready. So let's see here. So there's see, these are all videos, but just trying to find a photo because it's easier to flip through the photos. But so damage in Kharkiv from 2 years ago, and that I'm sure this part was damage part. I don't know about the door part. The infamous tractor. And replacing some of that. And then this was all shattered. Then Yuri on the side. Accidental recording. Yeah, fun wind at the time. Some videos where buffer a little bit. Ah, well. Oh boy. Let's see. More video, more video. Let me get out of the video parts. Let me see. So like this. So like this was again Kharkiv in 2022 and that, or at least around June time. So I don't know where the missile hit. I think Yuri might know better than me. But basically damaged. And I don't know what the condition is now. And I don't know if it's the same or it's different. And that if it's different, then they repaired something and that.
Right.
And I don't know if the damage was done from the beginning of February or later. I'm not sure. But yeah, like that. And there was like an American bar in the middle of everything, or at least not an American bar. It was like named something like that. And we took a break and had something to drink and such.
Forward. Forward, forward.
Come on, buffer, buffer, buffer. Buffer, buffer, buffer.
Normal, normal. More normal. Forward, forward. Normal, normal, normal glass. And then you got broken glass.
Like
And
that.
then you got broken glass. And then more broken glass. And everything forward.
Like that. Just random like that. And this building got hit or had some effect later from the other blast. I'm not sure. Then oh, this was in the center. The siren started up and that right when in the middle of me and
Now it's on the record.
yeah, the siren started up at the time, right when we were walking through the center. And that, and it's another thing of people not caring and that, or at least they hear it enough so they don't, it doesn't bother them. Buffers, I don't know.
Forward.
Hmm. taking a while to buffer. But yeah, just one of these things of everything else. Although now it's getting the depressing side of Ukraine as opposed to the last video. As I'm thinking about it, I need to bring it up in terms of quality.
Mhm.
But still, just one of them things of it's when I was out there out east, which I'll probably be doing more photos and videos than maybe a week or two or so. And that I don't know how my internet will be for connection, but we will see. But let's see. Let me go to albums. 10 minutes. Okay. He said 10 minutes and he's ready.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Yeah, that's good.
Like I figured. I thought 7:05, 7:10 around there. And that. Let me see here. My Ukraine album. Go back to the future on my beautiful Ukraine album. So
Man, were you at any time affected by anything that you saw? Did you see anything that
you
stuck
mean
with you?
PTSD way or no?
Yeah, yeah.
No. Oh, you know, I think, don't quote me on this. I think some of it has to do with personality.
Right. No, I understand.
And that, like, why? It's hard to explain. I don't think I have any effect in that. But you know, from my perspective, and I probably have a harder shell of a personality than most people. And what I mean by that is from my handicap, because, you know, I got teased and bullied when I was younger, this, that, whatever. And so from my perspective, like, I don't let things penetrate too deeply in that. Or I just know they're kind of like a saying that I grew up with is that I would roll with the punch. So if, let's say, if there's some bad event or with a punch, like a physical punch, and that you don't just fall down and stay down to it. You get hit, you get knocked by it, and you roll yourself back upwards, whatever way that is. And that, and just one of them things like that. It's just like, so like, am I a little bit anti-PTSD drone or prone? I don't know, maybe in that. But now, maybe now to other Ukrainians, they act a different way. I think it's that they've been sheltered quite a bit. But just one of them things. Here's a funny thing. When I was living in Lviv, so you have Pornhub and that, or you have Kebab Hub as a joke, like it was a play on
Right,
Pornhub
right.
and that. And let me see. I'm just looking through these albums. Killing Time for filler. And this is me taking photos of a friend. That's why I'm just zooming through them. Because she wanted photos to use for stuff. And that she like didn't have photos in 10 or 20 years. And that, and she was like about 50. And she just wanted photos like to share around or where she looked better. Wherever the next pile of photos is. Somewhere in here. When I upload a lot of these photos and that, I didn't realize how many COVID photos I took. Like screenshots of like everything going on. And that it
Yeah.
like because I thought like, boy, this is strange and new. And that. So, but like I got so many photos in here, it's like 13,000. Let's see, May, or no, that would be wartime. No, it's so much easier probably just to do it by city instead of it's trying to congestively load all these photos. Let me see. Too, I was talking with a girl. She has some Polish and Hungarian roots, and that she lives in Michigan, and she's gonna try to fly over. I'll try to not be a tour guide, but I'll be like a chaperone, so to speak. And she wants to see like Hungary and Poland and that. And she might, maybe, she's a little nervous of Ukraine. But I think if she gets used to Poland or Hungary after like 3 or 4 days, she will be okay with Ukraine because all it will take in order to go from like Hungary to Poland is to get on a bus or get on a train and then go straight through the border, and it will cost like $15 per ticket and that. So it'll be relatively cheap and that. And I'm not gonna bring her to like the center of Ukraine. I'll just have her in the west, in Lviv, or just probably mostly Lviv. But it'll give her an idea of what Ukraine is like in a way,
Right, right.
in the cultural sense. Oh, let me see. I like this explore option. Seemingly told me more about my own photo albums. So let's see with the and that. Okay. I'll do Ivano Frankivsk because it's more compact, I think. Not so many photos in Ivano Frankivsk. Enough, but not as much. Yeah, better. So this is from most recent to least recent. Let's see here. Where's my time scale? It's not all right as these load. Just waiting for him to respond or write. Let me see here. As it loads. Okay, photo. Boy. I think I took so many photos of the same thing. But anyway, so I'll be here tomorrow in that. So to understand something, like to drive, if you drive because the roads aren't straight, and that to drive from where I'm at to Ivano-Frankivsk is about 30 to 40 minutes, but the miles is like 15 miles. And it's not about the road condition, and that it's just the winding roads that are this way, that way, and every way. And this is like a little restaurant type of thing. Again, very hard to spend over $8 a person. And that unless you're getting like 3 meals or something. And just everyone sits, does this, does that. And this is not in 2024. This is later. And oh, trains. When I was doing trains before, they do buffer and train. So the old train. Not sure if I did a video on this. Let me let buffer for a second. Oh, okay. So it's like that. And then train schedule. And if you notice, it's in English lettering. So they have one for English, then they have it in Ukrainian as well. So it's not always in a foreign language. And this is a bar type of thing. And that. Then back to the train station. Their version of a Pizza Hut, chicken hut. Again, pizza is like $2 or $3 for
Right.
like, and that, but this is like the McDonald's version of a Pizza Hut, and that. And their French fries are really good. Burgers, so-so, and that.
Oh, hello, Ricky.
Ah, he lives. Somehow he lives. And that. I don't know how he lives, but he lives. So this is Yuri, and Jared is in the middle right. I don't know what it looks like to you, Yuri, but I was showing some photos from Bakhmut and Pokrovsk when we did the trip.
Okay, nice.
And
Do you
basically,
see me just in case? Because I'm still figuring out how this works. Zoom.
I see you, so you're good. And
Yes, yes.
And so basically what me and Jared do, I actually messaged Jared, like 6 or 8 months back, somewhere in there. Jared was doing some videos on Ukraine, but he didn't have a first-person perspective or a second-person perspective. And so what happens is, here, let me stop my sharing. Let me see here. Here we go. So what happens is I started giving like a first-hand, second-hand perspective of everything going on in Ukraine. He asked me questions like, well, the news says this, the news says that. How is it like this? How is it like that? And you can give the Ukrainian experience opinion because you have a wider view than me. And
Yeah,
that.
of course.
Okay.
Even though you're almost local, so.
Yeah.
So I'll hush up for the moment and let you guys talk.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, just in case, I'm right now in Kyiv, Ukraine, in city center of Kyiv. Yeah, and today night we had again red alert, all these sirens going on. But yeah, I would say last week is much better in terms of electricity. I don't know if Ricky has electricity cuts this day. We don't have any more this week.
Yeah, not anymore. Not so far. And I have a backup generator. Oh, and then everyone calls me. I'll need. Always like that.
Yeah, so it looks like situation with electricity at least became more stable
Right.
last couple of weeks.
Yeah. And then power gets cut. Boom. But anyways, did you get a chance to look at the questions Jared had for you, or did you just want to?
Yeah, absolutely. So first question is, personal impact and experience. How has war affected your daily life? I mean, in general, I would say, even if you are living normal life, almost normal life like Ricky, living far away from frontline and so on, still you're influenced. Because you see, first thing, what we discuss with Ricky in this conversation is situation with electricity cut. Because even if you have nothing to do with military, with frontline, with volunteering, with government, blah, 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 and if you live in remote areas that never suffer from rockets, drones, and so on, still first thing that you notice, it's sometimes electricity cuts, because it's like one of the ways for Russian military to do like war and to do like pressure on Ukrainian side is to hit energy infrastructure, like power stations, plus these stations for distributing electricity and so on. Because, yeah, I mean, it's the most effective way to paralyze economy and to influence like average everyday life.
Right. No, I mean, yeah.
To make like Ukrainian society more prone and inclining into like peace negotiations on Russian conditions.
Also to add, to give it some perspective, Jared was in the U.S. military at one time, and that, so he was talking about you guys might have some kind of similar experience, because I basically said you did supply runs, and I don't know if you embellish or say whatever else you did other than like supply run stuff.
I mean, yeah, it was mainly logistics and supplies. I mean, when the war began, like, and in general, in war period, I would say logistics is the most crucial thing.
Right.
Because, yeah, it doesn't matter how many weapons soldiers have currently in this particular moment. It makes sense if it is regular supply or not.
Right.
And that is why, even our politicians, like Zelensky and so on, and why they are sometimes making like Western audience and Western politicians to be angry on them, because they constantly ask, give us more weapons, blah, 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 give us more weapons. Because, I mean, for them, it's the most important thing to keep supplies running, because without proper logistic and proper supplies, I mean, it's hard to keep frontline stable.
Oh no, yeah.
Because
exactly.
I would say.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Ukraine was never really focused on developing its own like weapon production. We had something, but for this kind of war, it's obviously not enough.
Were you going off the list, Jared, or did you want me to jump in?
Say again.
Oh, I was just saying, were you going off the list, or did you have something off the top of your head to ask?
Oh no, I was okay. Well, here's another question though. How has Ukrainian society changed since the onset of the war?
Okay, I mean, I'm not talking about this kind of political change, like that more hatred towards Russians and more. Most of people are angry on Russia and Putin and so on.
Right. Yeah.
I would not talk about this political side of the things or particular military side, because obviously many men are serving in the army, went to the army like voluntarily or conscripted and so on. But one of the most crucial things is I would say massive refugee crisis, because around estimated from like 5 to 7 million Ukrainians who left to other countries, including like your home country, US, Canada, Germany, Poland. I think the biggest community now is in Poland.
Right.
So it's massive refugee crisis. And I mean, actually, Russian politicians, they claim that they have the most of Ukrainian refugees, but it's not really true because they captured territories of Ukraine. So they count in these refugees that stay in Russia like just local population that live under Russian control areas now. But one thing is massive refugee crisis. Second thing is energy crisis. Because even I remember first couple of months of the war, we were always like driving to frontline trucks, minibuses with supplies, and it was hard to get fuel that time. Then situation with fuel, with diesel and petrol normalized a bit, but I would say right now it's more complicated with the electricity. Because sometimes it's fine, and sometimes you have electricity cuts like 5, 6, 10 hours per day, like depending what is situation with like repairing all these like electric facilities. Main thing that I want to mention is refugee crisis, energy crisis. Obviously. Reality of frontline areas, because like hundreds of villages, towns, and cities live now like close to war zone, close to active combat. For example, like even Ricky, together with me, visited some cities that are already captured by Russians, like Bakhmut.
Right.
So we were in city Pokrovsk, that at that time it was like very peaceful, normal, nice city with nice cafes. But now front is like 15 kilometers away from Pokrovsk, and basically city is also turning a bit into artillery range.
Interesting. I'm just trying to think, like, coming from even though I'm in Kalush, so I'm far away from anything out of danger anyway, who's gonna go to Kalush for tactical advantage, in short? I would say from Kalush to Lviv to Ivano-Frankivsk, in terms of like daily life, if you think about the daily life normally, besides the electrical cuts, most everyone is always outside. And this is true and the same for Hungary, whether it's Poland, I would say probably somewhere in Belarus, it's somewhat true, and even in Russia as well. And that depending on how large the city is, like most people, most Ukrainians in general, just socialize and they don't stay sedentary. They move around and move. And that's the thing that I call it more like a resilience type of a thing, because you have two choices. You can cower in fear and hide, or you kind of just don't let it bother you. And that's from my view of it.
Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna give you read the floor, and I'm sure you've had time to read over the questions. I just want, for the people who are going to be listening, just to mainly hear from your perspective, and also, Ricky, you can go back through some of those pictures and those videos, and with you and Yuri, you guys can explain a little more, maybe going a little more in depth to help people understand, because I want people to hear the perspective you have, and that's why I'm doing this. Is I want to know more, and because with my background in Iraq, and I see a lot of similarities with Iraq and Ukraine. And so just like I had an impact on the Iraqis, the Iraqi people, and and then what's happening in Ukraine, I kind of just want to know more. And because I've become anti-war, right? I'm no supporter of war anymore. Like Iraq changed me. So I'm gonna give you guys the floor. So thank you so much for I actually thank both of you. I want to thank both of you for doing this. So just thank you.
I'll
Yeah,
lead with it.
yeah, you mentioned a very important thing. You're anti-war, but I mean, for Ukrainian society, we were put into this condition. So
right, yeah, no,
it was like very small minority.
I actually don't like that you were invaded by Russia. I guess what I was trying to say is I don't agree with the Russian invasion in Ukraine. So that's I guess what I'm trying to say. That the Russian invasion, in my mind, I don't like it. And so it's...
No, I mean, obviously, but I think it's also partially our fault and of our elites. It's
Right.
not popular opinion in Ukraine, but I would say most of Ukrainian politicians, most of the time were focused on like corruption, money laundering, and other things, and not on developing Ukrainian military potential, for example. Because if we would say, if we would have military potential over our history equal or at least similar to Russians obviously would never invade us. But Ukraine is actually first country in the world. Second was South Africa, but we are first country in the world that reject nuclear weapons. We had nuclear weapons and we surrendered them. And at that time, it was signed Budapest Treaty, and Ukrainian government get rid of nuclear weapon, and Russia and US and Great Britain were guarantors of Ukrainian safety, according to that Budapest Treaty.
Right.
And that's actually, if you really boil it down, again, it's probably not the popular opinion, but if you really think of that in terms of shades of gray and whatever color, that's kind of the blueprint for the whole entire thing, because you can say one side is once this way, one side once that way, one side once that way. It's how many times can you cut an onion or dice it or lean it one direction or another direction in a way. So in short, the war is probably more politician, well, my view, it's politicians on all sides.
Well, I kind of have I guess my own little way of looking at it. I feel almost like in a way NATO kind of like started it, and I almost feel like Ukraine is like being used as bait for both Russia and NATO, and so that's how I kind of see it. It's like Ukraine is kind of just thrown in there.
Okay, yeah, just partially, like Ukrainians mainly blame just purely Russians and Putin for this, but they don't understand it's our society fault. That our elites were mainly focused on corruption, money laundering, and doing nothing most of the time. Our government was not developing military potential, and even most of society was not interested in this. So
well,
yeah.
If I remember correctly, Yuri, correct me if I'm wrong, but with all of the documentaries that I watched, so when Maidan happened in 2014 and then Crimea got taken, etc., in the documentaries, they basically said, well, in short, kind of Ukraine had like a little bit like a ragtag army. It was like extremely, as it was a small footprint of a type of an army. And so that's what occurred in a sense of how Crimea got taken. There's some video somewhere on YouTube. If I can find it, I'll find it. But there's a video on YouTube where there's like Russian soldiers and Ukrainian soldiers marching towards each other. I don't know if this rings a bell to you or not, Yuri. But
Yeah, I know what you are talking about.
and
Yeah, that is true.
they had some conversation. I don't know what the conversation was because it's in Russian or Ukrainian, but Yuri could translate it. But I was just trying to help you out there, Yuri.
Yeah, so I would say it's true that before Crimea, before 2014, like all Ukrainian governments were not like treating military properly. And they were in this kind of mindset that war in 21st century is not realistic, it couldn't happen, and so on. And yeah, we, as I mentioned, we get rid of nuclear weapons. Yeah, then we were reducing like military size every year, and actually Ukraine was actively selling their own weapons and like demilitarizing as a country, because like Ukraine was massively actually selling their weapons, tanks, helicopters, and so on to African countries, to Pakistan, and so on. Like one of the biggest buyers of Ukrainian weapons before 2014 that our military was selling because they thought it's not needed. It was Pakistan.
Right.
I found the video, by the way. So if you want to play a translator on the video, Yuri,
Okay.
small example. So let me share my screen. Google. Okay, so Google Chrome, yes, share. Okay, so you guys see my screen now, right?
Yes, a bit.
Okay, so I don't know how good it will be for hearing. But so there's like this 1 minute video 10 years ago. I just remembered it, so off the top of my head. So let's see here.
Не офицер, уже не офицер, не офицер.
Вот эти вот пули, да, студенты пострадали, дети, надо было.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I understood what kind of period of time it was. It was like exactly 2014 Crimea events, and yeah, it's describing probably like either Russian troops, most likely Russian troops, and pro-Russian like civilian activists blocking Ukrainian military bases. And after that, most of Ukrainian soldiers who were like stationed in Crimea, they left to the country, including like rest of Ukrainian Navy and so on, and a few other military units that were based in Crimea.
Yeah. And I remember that being said in the news report, but like that was the whole, like, you know, when you were talking about the military buildup and there was not the right training, etc. That's what I was thinking of in the back of my head, was something that I saw, and that from documentary or from a news report and such. And that
No, I mean, even salaries of Ukrainian military become actually decent and competitive only since 2022, since full-scale invasion. And before 2014, they were completely miserable.
Now, to give a perspective, again, correct me where I'm wrong. In Lviv, somewhere 2018, 2019, if I remember correctly, I saw like a photo, maybe I even took a photo of it buried in my photos. They like had an enlistment photo, like join the military. But the I think it was something like 10,000 or 15,000 hryvnia a month. But to give that into an idea in dollars, not today, but at the time, like 10,000 hryvnia was like 350, maybe $420 a month.
Maybe a bit more, because in 2000, like 18, 19, I believe $1 was to 16 Ukrainian hryvnias.
Well, wait, to 16 or to 25? Because I remember
I think
24.
25 was already after COVID.
No. It was no, it wasn't 16 because like when I was there in 2018, it was like 24 to 26 in 2018. And
Okay,
that,
yeah, maybe I just don't remember.
regardless.
Yeah, it's like, I would say up to $400.
Yeah, but either or, basically you had a $500 check
Right.
per month. And I don't know if that included any benefits or just $500 a month. And that Yuri would understand that better than me. And that, or if they changed it over time. So that would be the thing. But I remember it's something like 10 or 20,000 hryvnia a month that I saw like
Yeah, obviously, if you're officer and serving more years, you're getting more. But yeah, I would say like even salary in Ukrainian military, and that was already 2019, because before 2014, it was even worse situation.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, and I would say salaries in military became competitive and up to like world market prices, I would say, only since full-scale invasion.
okay. Now, to give more perspective, Jared, when you were in Iraq, what was like the monthly pay roughly, like an average or something, if you remember?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because when I was in Iraq, we got extra pay. So I made quite a bit. I just don't know if I really recall, because that was a very interesting time in my life, because I was married prior. I had a first marriage, and so it kind of went really to crap really fast. And so she ended up with a lot of money that I had saved while I was over there. But at the same time, I'm trying to think what our pay was, and I'm gonna take a guess that before going to Iraq and getting the extra hazard pay, I think I was making somewhere around, was it 1,800 to maybe 2,100 a month, and I went to Iraq as a E4 specialist at the time. So that's a guess, like somewhere in that ballpark, and that was before the extra pay. So.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like then they give you the benefit of college and everything else.
Yes, yeah, we got a lot of other benefits. Yes,
But because I was gonna say something around like 2,000 or 3,000, I think, per month, and that's when you start off. That's like your beginning part. But now I hosted a guy through couch surfing that was in the military. I haven't talked to him since. He's somewhere in Kyiv, but I don't know where. When he came to my place, he told not me, but another Ukrainian that was with me. He said something that he was making like $1,000 a month or something close to that. I'm not sure.
Yes, and if you're participating on front line, like in active like combat areas, so it's around like 2,500 approximately per month.
Yeah. And now again, since we're throwing numbers around, most Americans that are in the U.S. will go like, yeah, that's nothing in the U.S. But to give the cost, again, the cost of living, the analysis of it. Um, if you own your apartment and then you only have utility bills and it's just a single guy, I would say your utility bills, gas, water, and electric are not over, let's say, $30 or $40 a month if you're owning your apartment. If you're renting your apartment, I mean, depending on how much luxury you want, you can be in a little village like me, spending about $200 a month, or you can be spending upwards of like $400 or $500 a month. So now I'm giving the comparison and the fact of what you can earn in Ukraine military and where the money will go. Unlike in the US, like what, $1,500 is now the minimum rent.
Well, here's a perspective. I own my own home. My mortgage is almost $1,700 a month. And because of that, it's the taxes where I live that's gone up. I also just paid bills. So for everything combined, my water, electric, all that, it was $400 a month for me. I just paid it. So to put that in perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're still there, right? You're, oh yeah, you are.
Yes, I'm still here. Yeah, so because like right now I'm staying in city center in rented apartment, so I can even show you on video what is $400 apartment in Kyiv city center.
Yeah, if you flip the camera around, go right ahead.
Yeah,
If you-
1 second.
I just got.
Let me figure out how to turn it.
Oh, you just
Okay.
turned it on.
Okay, so I remind you, apartment costs $400 and it's like 20 minutes walk from Khreshchatyk, Main Street.
Which is the center of the.
So it's kitchen, like pretty big. Plus one balcony. Blah, 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 street.
Yeah.
So
And
kitchen, you see.
they did some renovation on this because it's probably what, like early 2000s renovation or like 2010.
Yeah, something like this. It's
Well,
like more or less new in good quality.
Yeah. So it's not from what it used to be on the Soviet quality back in the day.
Yes,
That's
yes.
what I'm trying to point out. And then a modern washer. By the way, here's the thing too. Most Ukrainians don't have a dryer. They will have a washing machine, but no dryer. So they'll hang the clothes most of the time.
Right.
And then the dry
Yeah, they
rack.
will hang on something like this or on balcony.
Yeah. And then, yeah, but like that. And it's a 2-bedroom or just a 1-bedroom?
Yeah, it's actually 2-bedroom. Okay, it's small. Okay, so here is 1 bedroom. It's my bags and boxes that I put here. It's your flag that I put here.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on.
Yeah. I gave him the flag.
It was gift from Ricky.
Actually, I love it. And don't tread on me. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Morning.
I was when the war started up, I was telling him.
So you see, it's pretty big as well. It's 1st bedroom only.
Yeah, but I was telling Yuri revolutionary stories and that some stuff that I remember reading from George Washington, and that in some ways. And then I was like, yeah, look at this flag, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and here's you see 2nd balcony. And view like inside the yard. Oh, Ricky already know, but you would love this Soviet car, you see.
Oh, it's the Lada. But you know what? I recognize the area for some reason with that one building with the grass, the overgrown trees on the building. Was I in that area?
No, I don't see any trees, but
No. I mean the grass. Well, not the tree grass that's on the building next to the Lada. I feel
okay,
like
maybe it was here. I don't know.
Well, no, but I recognize it for some reason, maybe from a photo or a video, or I walked by it.
Okay.
I don't know. It just, it rings a bell to me. But anyways, keep going.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, that is first bedroom with balcony, and so here is entrance, again that kitchen, and here is like second bedroom.
It's like a living room. They do this conversion thing where the living room is also like a convertible bedroom, and that in a way for a
Yes,
guest.
yes, and plus one more balcony.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I don't know, Ricky, if you'll recognize the area or no, but doesn't matter.
Not this side. The back side, yes, but not the front side. I don't know. I'm backwards that way.
Yeah, but I mean, just for your understanding, what approximately costs like $400 in Kyiv city center.
Yeah.
Like a pretty decent apartment, good size.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it looks really nice.
Yeah. Then the other side too, again, like if it's a single guy or just a simple guy,
Right.
not trying to be expensive, I don't see the utilities being over $40 unless there's something going wrong with one of the utilities and that, which can happen
I
sometimes.
mean, maybe in winter time it can grow like to 60, 70.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true. But I'm thinking in the summer and that, so that's why I'm thinking of now. But it's just like that. Like my electric bill, I think is like $8 or $10 a month in that. So it's just one of them things like that. Oh, too, even if there's a power outage, I now have a 800-watt power backup UPS that's just sitting and waiting. So I have that. I don't have my iMac plugged in, but I have my Wi-Fi plugged into it and that, waiting for the power to get cut to have it go beep beep. And that costs me like $80. And that from Epic Center
Good.
and that. And they delivered it right next to my apartment. Oh, and that's another thing. I think it depends on what area of the US that for some things, I know it exists, but I don't think it exists all over the US. So in Ukraine, Nova Poshta, which means new post or new post office, because there's a Ukraine Poshta. Ukraine Poshta still works like the Soviet Union way, right? A little bit in a way.
Sort of, yeah, it's
But I'm not trying to
like more old-fashioned, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not trying to kick it down, but I know that everyone uses Nova Poshta mostly and that. But so what Nova Poshta does, they usually will have like say 3 or 4 branch offices, maybe even more, depending on what town. Then from each town, so people will get a notification on their phone via the app or a text message that something came in. And that, so in the US, it would get delivered to your door. In Ukraine, they can go to a branch office. That's one avenue, that's one choice. Or they'll have these little PO postage boxes where basically if you turn Bluetooth on your phone, it will open up the door if you hit a certain button in the app, and it will open up just like a mailbox thing if you rent out at the post office in the US, but it's electronic. So there's one that's right next to my building. They just deliver it straight there. That's the second option. Then the third option, I think they can deliver to your apartment, right, Yuri?
Yeah, I mean, then obviously you have to wait for a courier call, and it's a bit more complicated than delivering to post office, like more pricey, but still it's fine, yeah.
Yeah. Now again, in terms of cost, like for Nova Poshta, I think it's like depending on the weight, it's between say $1 to $5 in that. So it's between like basically like say 50 to 150 or 200 hryvnia, which is $1 to $5. In the US, you'll pay like somewhere between $20 to $40, and that's how much you'll pay on one side of it. And the thing that makes it very interesting for Nova Poshta is they can deliver basically like within the span of like, oh, I don't know what, like about 20 hours. Because you sent a few things to me once, and you sent them at the end of the day, and I ended up getting it in like either the morning or at lunchtime. And that the delivery system is very fast. And that, so like the whole point in me explaining that is that in the US you have to wait 1 to 5 days, 1 to 7 days, depending on how much money you pay for shipping. But then in Ukraine, you pay somewhere like, let's say up to $10, depending on weight or depending on speed. And you get it like roughly in a day or a day and a half from one side of the country to the other.
Interesting.
And that just
Yeah, and if we're talking about war, yeah. So as I mentioned, like before 2022, like full-scale invasion, and especially before Crimea events, like Ukrainian military were treated not really well. Like government didn't care about military. Military career was not really popular. It was like considered like something for like uneducated village guys and so on. And because like only now I would say military salaries are competitive and higher than average market price. Because like if you're serving just in the peaceful areas, it's around $1,000, and that is above like medium salary in the country. And if you are serving in frontline with all the extra payments and so on, it can be up to $3,000. So yeah, it's already, I think, decent salary, and that is why we have many recruits now from other countries willing to join Ukrainian military, especially from South America, actually, from Colombia, from Peru.
Oh no, yeah, there's a lot. I know that there's a lot from Colombia that I know from last summer when I was trying to keep up with it from last summer. I had a friend die last summer, and I kind of fell off track with Ukraine until now. But yeah, there's a lot, and it's very interesting, man.
Yeah, actually, I think the highest number of foreigners serving in Ukrainian military are exactly Colombians.
Yes, exactly right. I had read an article like you said almost he was a hero.
I wonder if it's the park. You know what I mean, Jared, right?
Say that again.
The FARC. You know the FARC members that are in Colombia. I think it's Colombia. You know the FARC wanted to break away from Colombia.
Yeah.
This is 80s stuff. This is going back to the 1980s with Reagan. I don't know if you remember it or heard of it, right?
With Reagan?
Well, no, with the FARC. If you heard of it, right? Or no?
Yeah, you might have to elaborate a little more.
Well, there was a thing back in the 80s where let me look at it let me see if I can find it first before I share a screen. FARC, I think it's FARC. I'm making a joke. It's probably incorrect, but the FARC Colombia and that. Yeah. Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia. So here, let me share my screen.
There you go.
And that, let's see. Okay, so on Wikipedia, I'm making a joke. There might be a little bit of truth in it, but this FARC in that. That's what it was called in the US, is these guys were like paramilitary guys that were in Colombia, and they didn't like the direction of Colombia, or I think they were communists, one of the two. Founded peasant self-defense groups, 48, anti-imperialism, military tactics, blah, blah. But still, like, oh, maybe they dissolved, I don't know. But regardless is they existed. So I wonder if some of those in Colombian, like, went over, were in the FARC at one point. And
Oh,
that,
I see what you're saying now.
and that, because they were against the Cuban, or not the Cuban, the Colombian government. They wanted to be separate completely, and like their little flag. But still, it's just that's what it rang a bell in my head again. But like that. I'm sure Jared would like to talk about, probably, which will be the fun controversial subject, is the conscription thing, which I tried to explain it in a way. I'm sure there's different shades of gray with it, but that it's not everything that's being said on TV about it. And that, because I had told them that a lot of people joined up right at the beginning of the war, and that, and then, like, some people kind of meandered. They were a little bit lazy about it, or didn't want to be involved. But you want to explain the whole, the pro con, or the wrong perception of what's going on with the conscription thing with Ukraine, Yuri?
I would explain this, and I would say that real conscription started maybe around 1 year ago, because first year of the war, first year and a half and so on, Ukrainian military just have enough people who served before or who joined voluntarily, and it was no real need in conscription. Later, of course, some people are getting killed, some injured, some tired, sick, and so on. And in this kind of full-scale war, society is always in need of more and more soldiers to replace those who are dead, injured, sick, retired, and so on. That is why how appeared this need in conscription, main problems related to conscription, that for example head office of military force in Ukraine, they ask all regions to provide I don't know, within, let's say, 3 months, some particular number of people. And in some region, for example, it's easy just to recruit these people. For example, in Kyiv, it's big city, over 3 million people, and you can always recruit some volunteers, some people just for money, and so on.
Right.
The hardest situation with conscription is in some small towns and some particular regions, because there it's also common command from head office of military, we need recruits, blah, 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 please, if possible, provide us with this number of new recruits. And in that area, it might be population decline, because some people left as refugees, and in general, demographics of that region is not as good.
Right.
But local recruiters are also trying to show results. And that is why appear stories when they give this conscription letter to some people who are just old, 55 or something like this, or to people who have who are not in good health condition, or sometimes appear these stories, they just catch some drunk guys on the street, put them into car, and bring to military recruitment center for signing contract and so on. So these problems exist. I wouldn't say it's massive because like partially this situation with conscription is exaggerated by politicians and by media. So like because some media and some especially like on Russian side or opposition media in Ukraine, they pretend to say, oh, like men are afraid to go out on the street because they would be conscripted immediately. No, it's not true. If you just walk in the streets in the Ukraine, you see that there are a lot of men, and
Yeah.
in most of the cities, it's like normal everyday life.
Right, right.
But also this situation happens sometimes, if like local recruitment center and their management see that they have not enough recruits, they start walking on the street, like giving these invitation letters for conscription to people on the streets, and so on. But I wouldn't say it's something massive, and that people are massively afraid of this.
Right,
Yeah.
right. No.
Just main thing that irritates people in conscription is that it is forbidden for men under 18, over 18, until I think 60, from 18 till 60 year old to leave the country without special permission. So even drivers, like if you are a truck driver and driving between Ukraine and Poland, bringing, I don't know, food, you need special permission from the military administration to leave the country, because like, honestly, like Ukrainian government is not trusting that much their own people, and they think that if they allow people to freely travel, that most of population, they think men population would leave the country, and it would be like no defenders, no workers, and so on. Yeah, I don't think it's true, because like if borders are open tomorrow, I wouldn't run. And some people who want to leave Ukraine, they even would run regardless of the closed borders. Like some people, like even I know some of them are crossing border illegally, just through in the field or in forest, and
Right.
some people like crossing border with fake documents and so on. But I would say since the beginning of the war, full-scale invasion, also hundreds of thousands of men, Ukrainian men who were living and working in other countries, they returned to the country to defend. Because it was like first couple of months of the war, it was massive massive thing that, for example, Ukrainian man who was working somewhere in Spain, in Italy, he quit job, go to Ukraine, join military, and it was not rare. It were like really thousands of people like this.
Oh yeah, I read that they're putting together what they call a Ukrainian league, which is Ukrainians that are coming, that had fled, but they're coming back, right? They're forming this union.
Yeah.
I have read, it's very interesting stuff. And so yeah, it's what you're kind of talking about.
Yeah,
So
and many people who are crossing illegally borders, it's not necessarily they're running away from conscription. Sometimes they have like.
I was saying they're coming back, because I have read this Ukrainian league that they're forming, and it's like a military unit or something. I think it's how I understood it. So
yeah, it's more it would be formed. I don't think it would be massive. It's just some good story for public image, like we recruit Ukrainians abroad. Right. It wouldn't be massive, like in the beginning of full-scale invasion. But yeah, it's still happening.
Right.
So yeah, conscription has problems, but I mean, obviously most of population in Ukraine understand that. Yeah, they might be angry on military recruiters and because of current regulations and so on, but I mean, they understood it's not fault of military recruiters that they're conscripting people. and if like Putin didn't announce war, there will be no need in conscription.
Yeah, exactly.
Reasons for conscription and all negative effects of the war is like war itself.
Mhm.
But I can add a little bit to it from what I understand from the third person perspective. Yuri will remember some slight conversation with a friend, Sergey, that was in Lviv. Basically, Sergey knew this, Yuri knew this, I did not know this. But usually once you're conscripted after the basic training or so, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, Yuri, but it's not in the sense like Vietnam, which the way that I understand how Vietnam was, or even World War II, etc., was once you join in, they just throw you into like a mincemeat slaughter. And I was watching a documentary. They actually talked about D-Day in that most seasoned commanders in that fought in a previous war or previous engagement, and that during World War II or before, most of those types of people would never have thought that D-Day would succeed, because you're just storming a beach and you're running straight into the hellfire of bullets, ammunition, and everything else, and it's just a hellscape. But the point is, as they said, is it was a lot of the 18 to like say 23-year-olds that thought, well, we're invincible, we'll just go ahead and mow it down. And they did it.
Yeah, and one important thing, Ukraine is not recruiting people who is younger than 25. Like not conscripting people. You can join voluntarily, but you cannot be conscripted if you are younger than 25.
Yeah, that I forgot about that, but I know that. But on top, but the point though is that with this is Yuri, I think, told me, or someone else, that basically once you join in, you have a choice of where you're positioned and that, or like say, I guess if you have a skill or a talent, you have a choice of where you go, and that they just don't throw you to the front line. I mean, unless you want to go to the front line. Am I right?
I mean, it's complicated. To be able to have a choice, you should have some skills. Yeah, because like honestly, yeah, if you're qualified in something, you have this choice. But to be honest, if you're like just uneducated guy from the village, most likely you will end up just in trenches, digging trenches. To be honest.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of muscular ability to be built.
Yeah,
there.
so it's complicated, of course.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it depends on the situation, but the reason why I think of that is just that it breaks a little bit with the perception that basically well, I mean, depending which news you watch in the US, but they make it sound like it's a Vietnam or everything, and everyone's idea of Vietnam is the lottery came and my birthday came up and shit, I either got a draft dodge to Canada or get out of the country, or they're just gonna throw me into Vietnam and put me into a Huey helicopter and boom, 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 and that. And that was the perception for Vietnam. That still is the perception for a lot of things in that. And even with Iraq, there was a lot of, and a little bit of Afghanistan, they had a lot of negative perception on all of the IEDs and all that, the implosive explosive devices. They buried them under the roads and that, right, Jared?
Yeah. Yes.
And that, and I don't know where else they would bury them, but they would put them under the roads and everything else and all that.
Yeah, I think there's there's a big difference with like Ukraine and Iraq. Like in Yuri's case, they were invaded. You know, I was sent to invade a country that I didn't know any, you know what I'm saying? Like I had no beef with, you know. Yuri, on the other hand, his country was invaded by another country. And so I think the sentiment is different in regards how the Ukrainians are responding versus how I feel about Iraq when, you know, I look back now and we went and just picked on a country. It's how I look at it. It was, we went and disrupt people's lives for what? I mean, what was our outcome? You know?
Yeah.
But
well, it's just basically, you know, you know where I'm coming from is basically I'm thinking in a bullet point of how the US media kind of slants the story that makes Ukraine, well, I mean, depending on what news you're watching, you keep hearing Ukraine destroyed, Ukraine military on its heels or something. They always use some little tagline thing of like Ukraine on the edge, like, and it gets people to watch, but it's not accurate, and that's the key thing. And so I'm thinking of what is accurate and what is closer to reality, and that's why I think of it in that way. If you want to chime in, Yuri.
Yeah, I'm just trying to check what other questions were in your list.
well, I only
Okay,
had
social, cultural aspect, economic impact, blah, blah, blah.
I think we can almost get ready to close it out if you guys want to. Really, I think, you know,
I mean, I'm okay with talking even 2-3 more hours. Just main point, it's interesting for your audience.
yeah. I wish I'd go 2 or 3 more hours, but I can't. But
Yeah, exactly, because people wouldn't watch that long.
yeah. Really, I think, really, man, because so far there's been a lot of good perspective, and I think we can give like let's go like another 10, maybe 20 minutes. And I would like you and Ricky to explain some of those videos that Ricky was showing. We are doing some like the supply runs. I think that would be really cool. I think who's ever going to view it, that would be cool to show them some of that
Nice.
real quick and kind of explain it.
Well, let me see. Well, I already showed the photo or video, but let me see if I can find it again. Basically, Yuri, what I showed him was what was in Pokrovsk. Actually, I probably should do it through my Facebook. That would be easier because I have a lot more. Oh no, I have too many photos there. Let me see. Basically, I was showing them videos and photos from Pokrovsk and some in Bakhmut. That's what I was doing. And that I didn't show them the ones where you made me a little Islam guy, though. He remembers this because he wrapped like a little towel thing around me as a funny joke, and he took a few photos of me. But give me 1 second. I'm gonna dig through my Facebook posts and see if I can find it in that Pokrovsk, Pokrovsky or SK, right? Pokrovsk. Okay. Well, maybe we'll see the my well, not Islamophobia, but my actions of a thing. So, random photos again. So Yuri sent this to me at one point since I can't take photos of myself. This is, by the way, the British guy. What's his name? I forgot. The
Dave.
one that Dave. Yeah. This is where we met Dave, in that which Dave and Yuri were talking. Dave would be interesting to talk to because he's seen a lot more. And he was doing supply runs. He's still doing stuff or no?
Not anymore, but he was doing for a long time supply lines here and evacuations of elderly people. And actually, he got injured and lost his eye when he was evacuating like elderly couple from some village.
Yeah, and Jared, here's your thing where Yuri made me a little bit Islamic as a funny joke. But let me see. That's 3 photos. Let me see. There should be some video somewhere here. Ukrainian war. Yeah, that's right. I created an album for this. Well, as it's loading, but basically, one thing too, I don't know if it would be interest-wise, but I thought of Elena might be interested. I don't know if it's in her interest or is she still in a bomb shelter writing, if you get what I mean. Yuri.
Okay, you have that many photos? Probably I don't have most of them. I see Kharkiv there, some other cities, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So Pokrovsk. This is Pokrovsk. So I don't know where I should start. So let's see here. This is Kharkiv. Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, well, let's start here. I'll try to go right. So I remember this was with Charles in his apartment. These were the helmets. They were Polish helmets.
Yeah,
Some-
helmets from Poland, humanitarian aid.
Yeah. And then let's see here. And then Yuri being very tactical. Hidden video, secret video. Yeah, Yuri doing that. Very, very, very interesting. And then a map. And there was this bridge that I didn't get recorded, but this was me and Yuri on the way to, well, no, it wasn't Kharkiv. It was to
Donbass, I think. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
On the
down,
way.
yeah. And it was very interesting sleeping because me and Yuri ended up falling asleep on each other half of the time or whatever. I think I'll skip that because I think that was a recording of the conversation on the road. But so like you had the supply stuff here that we did. This was random stuff. I already showed this to Jared at one point. And that again, this is Dave. I'm just trying to think what else. By the way, from my thinking, do you think Olena might be interested on doing the video like you're doing?
Try to ask, yeah. Why not?
Olena is an interesting person, Jared, in the sense that she's a little bit more of the, how do I want to say it? She's a little bit military, a little bit politics. She's a flux in between the two. And
And was kicked out from Vienna University.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I know she really enjoys that thing. Then of course this was me and Yuri's accommodation, which I said before Yuri joined in. It's Pokrovsk. What can I say? Between Pokrovsk and everything and that. Oh yeah, then when we were stopped, at the one place with the truck driver, and that where we got food and or no, this is not this. This is Kyiv, right next to the railway station. July 2022. I remember we stopped at the place for food, and I was doing a video and I posted on the Facebook, and every Ukrainian's going, you can't do that, you can't do that, and that it was like burnt out. It was burnt out like the what was it, like an APC in a way? If you remember what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I remember. We just stopped in some small town for food.
I just can't remember where the photo is. It's in here somewhere. Well, this is all Kharkiv. So me and Yuri were walking around on this and that.
Okay. But don't Russians love Adidas? Right?
The track suits.
Russians love Adidas, right?
Yeah, so I mean, city, it's like 1.5 million city that is 30 kilometers from front line.
Yeah. But it's just like that. But still, even in Kharkiv, they have Kharkiv Jazz Nights. So there's still some semblance of a city. The stuff still goes on. Trying to think what else. By the way, did they repair this building or no?
Yes,
Oh, they did? That,
in Kharkiv, they're repairing everything like very fast.
yeah.
It's like a miracle.
Yeah, that would be something interesting to see. Maybe the photo's in a different album or it's buried somewhere. I was thinking of the photo of whatchamacallit. Oh, no. Yeah, I got photos mixed in here because I threw them in. Just thinking. The photo's somewhere else, but I'm just trying to think what other. I'm just thinking what other little things, Jared, that you can you think of that's in your interest?
I think it's pretty much we covered quite a bit today, and this link or this meeting is also reoccurring, and depending on all of our like circumstances, we could try to do this every Friday. If not, like the link is reoccurring for a good while, so I said it for a while. So
Yeah,
every
why not?
Friday could, if possible, we could do this. Or if not, I mean, like I said, the link is reoccurring anyway. So, but
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we can do it next week. Oh yeah, Yuri, I probably will head to Kyiv for a day or two. And if you're free, I'll meet up with you. Do you think I'll need a little bit of the little plastic card thanger for going east, or you don't think I'll need it? Just in the case part of it.
You mean your residence?
No, not my residence. You gave me the little plastic paper thing, the NGO thing.
Okay, where you want to go exactly?
Oh, well, if I go with the guy that's Yuri, that's from Rivne, I'll be in Kramatorsk and somewhere around there. I'll be
Okay,
with,
yeah, then better take.
yeah, but I'll be with him, so I'll probably defer to him what's photo and video recording. But
Yeah, but still, more paperwork you have, more confident would be soldiers or policemen that stop you.
yeah, and then
Because if they stop guy who don't even have passport, that's suspicious. But if you show them lots of documents, yeah, They
Yeah.
think it's most likely either NGO or media, so let him go. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, just like that. So, but like basically, I figure I might stay a day or two in Kyiv because I'm also gonna get one of my duffel bags from Kyiv, and then I'm gonna go from Kyiv. Can you go Kyiv to Kramatorsk, or do you have to go like?
There is even train. Yeah, remember Kramatorsk, it's almost frontline state, it's like 50 kilometers from frontline, but you can still go by train there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, again, they run everything to the last minute in short.
Yeah.
Than that. But I'm just trying to think what else. I mean, there's too many photos and videos. It's more easier to talk about it and then find it in a reference later. But I'm just trying to think. Well, Yuri, you joined basically right when everything like first or second day or the first week, right? As an example, you
Yeah,
joined.
like third day of the war, I already went to police station to receive weapons. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, to give the example, in that not everything in Ukraine is all about I don't know, it's just the thing that bothers me the most is the perception that, well, either A, Ukrainian men do not want to fight. That's one perception. Then the other perception is that Ukraine is running out of soldiers. And then the third perception is, oh, what's the third perception? Am I missing us? Am I missing
That we
it?
all want to fight, we all want to kill Russians, we are Nazis, and so on.
Oh, you know what? That's one area in that, Jared, that I think you tried to cover it in some videos in that. How do I want to put it? Well, what's the word? Yuri was in some Halloween parties, which it was Halloween parties as an example, and everyone came with their own little outfit, one way or another. Yuri sent me a photo once long ago of what was it, someone else, or they were dressed up in a Nazi outfit, but it was a Halloween party.
Maybe I don't remember.
Well, but the point though is like, a lot of this gets twisted around in the news. Boy, it's not even, the sun's not even setting and I'm just getting dark. Maybe I'm really a black man underneath.
I mean, honestly, like to be honest, in the 21st century, you cannot really be a Nazi like it is described in the meaning of Second World War. The same like today, you cannot be Viking because I mean it just doesn't make sense today.
Yeah.
The
Well,
same
no,
like
it-
Nazi, it was applicable to some particular period of time. It doesn't make sense today.
Well, terms are overused. Like even here in America, some will do it to their political opponents and say you're a Nazi or accuse them of, being a Nazi, and I think it's used really more to degrade people because, like you said, I mean, when you throw a term like Nazi around, it just doesn't have that meaning today like it did, like you said.
Exactly.
It's like how can everybody be a Nazi? Doesn't make sense. Not everybody can be a Nazi. It's I know it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's just also, like I said, it's, if you really want to be somewhat realistic about it, it's like this. So there's 330 million Americans in the country. Is it possible that 1%, which would be like about 2 million people, maybe a million people, are either Nazi-like or some kind of form of Nazi? Yeah, it's possible. Or it's under a million people. And that, if you did like a rough calculation. And now, again, if you do a calculation with Russia, Russia has neo-Nazis. Is there, how much is the percentage? Is it 1%? Is it 0.5%? Is it 2%? It depends on how you look at it because, you know, it's one of these things. You can show a chart and say 10% of the country is whatever. But when you say that 10% is whatever, 10% could be 500,000 people out of like 20 million. You can basically, it's what I learned long ago in math class. The math teacher once said, you can lie with a chart. You can manipulate how the chart looks to where people have a different skewed reality of how things are. If you know what I mean, Jared.
Mhm.
And that.
Yeah, and about people like making these Nazi tattoos with swastika and so on. It's more like bullshit subculture. Like I don't know, like
Well,
I don't know, bikers or gothic subculture or something like this. It's just
you know, to add to that, I'll go into Russian Ukrainian music a little bit. You know, there's that singer, G Gun or whatever. He's from Crimea. You know what I'm talking about, Yuri, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This guy, he's really tattooed up. He's really tattooed up. And he has Masonic tattoos on his back, which is really funny. All going to the fact that I'm in a Masonic lodge, but the thing is like he has like this. There's a song I don't remember the name of the song, but he like had his shirt off or had it whatever, and like again showing off all the tattoos and like he has a huge like a pyramid or just a Freemasonry uh type of thing and I showed it to a few guys in the lodge and they just laughed. But it's all over his back as an example.
Yeah, and about always make jokes about you being Freemason because in Ukraine it's not something really popular. Like I would say 50% of people even don't know what means to be Freemason, what it is. They even never heard this word, and others like mainly think that it's something either from the past, from let's say 19th century, or think it's something evil, like making some kind of conspiracies.
There's people in the US that think that way too. It's all over, but I'm not worried about it than that. Or
Yeah, but
actually,
just funny that Freemasons in the US are more open, and in Ukraine you cannot even easily find lodge.
well, I mean, you know, the thing about this is in the US, they post the hours, it's posted in like community bulletin boards in the US, it's on their website, etc. In Ukraine, it's like, here's our address, nothing else. That's what makes it so funny in a way in that. Let me think. Uh,
Well, guys,
yeah.
I have to get going for the day, and
Okay.
we can
Sure.
always shoot. Like I said, the link is reoccurring. So if we're all free next Friday, we can continue the discussion and so on, and we'll just play it by circumstances. Like I said, because anything could come up for any one of us. So plus, I'll be starting school again back at the University of Bushnell. The end of this month is when I start back my studies in theology. So, but we'll definitely continue this. And it was good meeting you, Yuri. I enjoyed listening to your perspective, and thank you for sharing it. And thank you for helping me understand more. So I have definitely a better understanding what's really going on. So besides the narrative that gets paint on all sides, because I do a lot of reading of news, and I know Russian propaganda to NATO propaganda and so forth. You know, it's everybody has their own, and it gets a little confusing and it's hard to balance. And you put a lot of things in perspective for me. So thank you.
Yep,
Yeah.
appreciate. Thank you for inviting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I look forward to many of these. And so maybe one day I can get out to Ukraine. You know, we'll see. Maybe, you know.
Hopefully.
Well, if the wife allows it and the kids, that's the bigger thing.
Yeah.
Than that.
Maybe we can all come out together, but you know, we'll see. Right. But I'm gonna get going for the day. Thank you all again. So
Okay, no problem.
all right. I'm gonna stop recording. So
Okay, sure. All good.
and then